So, Dragon Age the Veilguard. Corrine Bush, I believe, is apparently quietly hired by a new studio that might develop Baldur's Gate 4. Well, Baldur's Gate, you had a good run. Sorry it has to come to this. Um, Dragon Age, okay, story highlights. Dragon Age, the Veilguard director Corrine Bush has been quietly hired by, oh god, by Wizards of the Coast after leaving BioWare. Wizards of the Coast has been destroying things for a while now. Corrine has also has been placed in the newly formed Skeleton Key Studios as a game director, which might develop Baldur's Gate 3, Baldur's Gate 4. Wizards of the Coast kept the hiring process of the director discreet, likely to steer. Oh God. Dragon Age The Veilguard's lead developer, Kareem Bush, has already secured a highly reputable position after recently leaving BioWare. Leaving. The director has been hired by Wizards of the Coast under the newly formed studio, Skeleton Key Studios. Baldur's Gate 3 fans are immediately concerned about this unexpected development. Yeah. Yeah. Can't imagine why. You know? The, it was under this person that made Dragon Age the Veilguard what it was. So, and I know, oh, John, I don't know what you're doing. Oh, you haters, I thought the game was really good. Well, there you go. You thought the game was good. Great. You liked it. That's stupendous. It's wonderful. The game was a failure, both game wise and financially. The game was a failure. So great. You enjoyed it. Doesn't mean it's a successful game. Why it matters. Game director Kareem Bush failed at Dragon Age the Veilguard and is now put on to possibly direct Baldur's Gate 4. Here's why that's a good thing. Or something like that. Taking something bad and trying to she destroyed Dragon Age the Veilguard and now she's working on Baldur's Gate 4. Here's why that's a positive thing. Yeah. Why it matters? Dragon Age the Veilguard director left BioWare after the game's colossal flop, leaving gamers with questions due to the developer's controversial role. Fans of Baldur's Gate are now anxious about the possibility of Green heading to the next project. Sources close to credible insider and YouTuber Smash JT have revealed that Kareem Bush is now working as a game director for Skeleton Key Studios. The studio is expected to develop Baldur's Gate 4 in the future, since Larian Studios denied the proposition. I just heard a rumor that Kareem Bush was hired by at Skeleton Key, but sure enough, I checked my team's organization chart and he's there. For those not in the know, Greenbush is one of the lead figures who are blamed for ruining the Dragon Age series with a highly controversial approach to Veilguard. Following the director's supposed voluntary departure, BioWare has also pruned the studio by firing all Veilguard writers, reducing the size to less than 100 to focus on the Mass Effect game, which people are concerned about as well. And on a side note, some of these Veilguard writers are now working on Ghosts of Yote, which I covered that. So you have a colossal failure in the form of, the Veilguard, and every person who made it fail is now working on big name projects like Ghosts of Yote. Like the writers couldn't even do Dragon Age. They're not going to be able to do Ancient Japan. I mean, with Dragon Age, it's more fantastical, whimsical. It's medieval fantasy, but with magic and this. So you should let your mind run wild. Ghosts of Yote is more grounded. They clearly can't even do whimsical and fantasy. So there's no way in hell they can do something like Ghosts of Yote. Wizards of the Coast has not officially confirmed Korean's move to Skeleton Key Studios. This is likely done to prevent heavy backlash from Baldur's Gate and Dungeons and Dragons fans. Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, you name it, Wizards of the Coast is ruining it because they don't care. Because it's been infiltrated by freaking activists. The same activists I've said numerous times where, you and your friends are hanging out and you're playing D&D and that one person comes up like, "Oh, hey, can I play with you guys?" And then they start playing and then they expect everyone who's been playing to cater to them. "Oh, I don't like the language you're using." "Oh, well, you shouldn't use that name." "Oh, this is really triggering my anxiety." Those are the kinds of people who have taken over Wizards of the Coast. "Oh, well, I don't like the language that's being used." "Oh, well, that's extremely offensive against certain groups of people." So that's exactly what's happening in Wizards of the Coast. That's why no one trusts them anymore. Whether it be Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, you name it, they don't trust it because they're just ruining these franchises and things that people have loved. All because we can't upset certain people. Um, Nothing controversial about the direction taken on her on Veilguard. It was universally hated. Yeah, yeah. It again. You can say, "Oh well, I like the game. Good for you." Like, no one's gonna say that. Literally no one. Now that I'm sure some people were saying literally no one liked it. No, of course that's not the case. You don't use literally unless it was literally no one. But I could say hardly anyone. You have a game that came out, 30,000 refunds within a couple days. Um, the fact that after 3 months they barely sold 1 million copies. Not even 100,000 players. I think it was like 89 some odd number. So not exactly. And 89,000 sounds like it's a lot, but given that's all over the world. That's all over the world. Um, so, but the game was a flop. The game was terribly written. The characters weren't relatable. Tosh is by far one of the worst characters ever created. The puzzles were mind-numbing and too easy. They held your hand the entire time. They're like, "Oh, take that there and turn that this way." Um, this is all stuff I pretty much say each time because for people who don't know, then you have the fact that it was supposed to be Dragon Age Dreadwolf. So Solus would have been the main protagonist or antagonist. But instead they're like, "Oh, let's not do that. Let's make it the Elven Gods because, fighting against the gods in a game is completely original. Instead of using a character that's highly loved and has great motivation, even if he's going about things the wrong way, let's just backseat to the Elven Gods." So that pissed a lot of people off. And it was bad. The dialogue was terribly written. It sounds like it was written by a 5-year-old. The romances sound like they were written by people who'd never flirted with anyone or been flirted with before in their life. Um, it was just bad. And now that person and other people working are now taking part in other big name games like Ghost of Yotei and possibly Baldur's Gate 4. So, you know, it's people could say, "Oh, fear monger." No, people have a legitimate reason to be worried. Same thing with Mass Effect. BioWare is working on Mass Effect, the same BioWare that was working on the Failguard. We saw what happened to the Failguard. People are now worried that the same thing is going to happen to Mass Effect. So for all the people saying, "Oh, you worry, fear mongering," no, these are legitimate concerns of gamers because all these once great franchises are being destroyed by people who don't know what they're doing because they rather hire activists than people who actually can actually genuinely care about the franchise. Instead of hiring people who are legitimately passionate about Mass Effect or Baldur's Gate or whatever, They're bringing in people who are activists and who don't care. They just see this as an outlet to push their BS. So gamers have a legitimate reason to be upset. Oh, I don't. Why does it matter? It's just a game. Well, it must be so nice not to have any hobbies or passions that you care about. Must be so nice to go through life with not having any hobbies or passions and, just saying, oh, well, why does it matter? It's just this. Why does it matter? It's just that. Because, those people, if you do have hobbies and passions, imagine if someone was to come into your hobby or passion and just ruin it. Yeah. And don't say, oh, I wouldn't mind, because you would. Don't even fucking lie. Don't even do it. So, gamers have a legitimate reason to be worried and upset with the way things are going, and they have a reason to be wary because 2024 alone, it was just one release, one flop after another, after another, after another, after another, after another, and they're not just like small titles. No, these are like big titles, and they were just flopping like fucking magic carp, going nowhere, not useful. And you would think, oh, let me just kick that fucking thing back into the water and get it to evolve. But oh, no, that's not going to work with those games. No, they're just magic carp. They're just like carp, 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 and they're not evolving. They're they're going to stay just as flopping around and weak and useless, and they're not going to evolve into something better. So, I don't want to be your master. But yeah. Let's just put these people who clearly don't give a flying shit and put them on other projects like this. I'm sure everything will work out just fine. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.